You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family agent, Kim believes that there is so much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene sent you. We're going to welcome back Dan Greenstein from Bernick Lifson. We're talking about a special situation here in Cranberry, Pennsylvania. The Freedom Woods Homeowners Association had their 7-member board make a decision that they wanted to regulate rentals to a 5% cap. Problem is, the homeowner, one of the homeowners said, you know what, I don't think that you've got that kind of authority. That's something that all of the members must weigh in on, because this is something that is going to have to be changed in the governing documents. And Dan, they were using this interesting rule, or their attorney talked about it, the business judgment rule. I got to believe that this is something that their attorney talked to them about, don't you think?
I think so. It's an old concept under the law, and it, in the olden days, it was used a lot by corporations to prevent their shareholders from complaining about decisions the board of directors made. And basically what it says is that the corporation board of directors have to use good faith. They have to use the type of care a prudent person in a similar position would use, and they have to make a decision that they believe is in the best interest of the corporation.
No.
That's really the essence of the business judgment rule, and it's so that the courts don't have to be involved every single, with judging every single decision a board of directors makes.
Exactly. But, one of the things that I find very curious here about this is that when I was reading this whole thing, I got to believe that the business judgment rule is something that their attorney had to have brought up to them. But then the attorney was interviewed at the end of this article, and he said something to me that kind of seemed like he was a little bit being a little duplicitous. He said that this attorney said that he will recommend to the board that they amend the covenants and bylaws to include the 5% leasing rule, because he said, it's my legal opinion that it's always best to amend the declaration and bylaws and covenants. I mean, I got to believe that the board probably were getting their direction, were kind of drawing the line in the sand based on what he said, and now he's saying this. I think that all of this could have been saved if he probably would have just said to the board, I think it's best that we just go about changing the amendment, or amend the governing documents the way they should be done. Don't you think? Dan?
So what I wonder when I read this article, Gene, is that whether the attorney came in at the beginning and wasn't familiar with the declaration and the provisions in that, or whether perhaps the board of directors decided they wanted to do this, asked the attorney how they could get it done, and didn't realize there'd be so many people apparently opposed to this rule.
That could be. I guess I'm being a little bit more jaded in my thinking here. One other aspect about this that I find very interesting: the homeowner who said, "Hey, I think you need to take a step back, board, and I think we need to have this a vote of all the members." Said of the business judgment rule, she said that I think that let me find it right here. She said, I believe that having something like this sort of action opens the door to an abuse of power. And I just want to make a comment because that kind of struck me. I don't know if having something like a business judgment rule and its purpose is opening the door for an abuse of power. I think people who want to abuse power will try to rationalize things any way they can, but I don't think that the business judgment rule as we know it in and of itself is a bad thing. Would you agree?
No, I agree with that. And the business judgment rule has been around, for probably hundreds of years. It was one of the earliest corporate decisions put into place. Even if the business judgment rule were appropriate in this particular situation, it doesn't mean that corporate board has the authority to exceed their power. I mean, that's got nothing to do with business judgment. That's got, everything to do with what powers do they have under the statute in Pennsylvania, and do they even have the power to consider this decision and passing this decision under the bylaws, the declaration, and the state statutes in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I know for sure the answer here in Minnesota would be no.
Yeah. Hey, we've got just 1 minute left before the end of the show here. Let's make a quick comment on what do you think of this woman and how she went about trying to get things changed with her association? I was kind of impressed with the fact that she seemed calm, she seemed rational, respectful. You didn't see or hear anything about anybody trying to withhold their monthly assessments from the board. But she said, this is something I think I may want to do in the future, and I'd like to get this changed and clarified before doing this. She didn't want to wish to just be a breaker of any kind of rules.
I think she did a terrific job, and it looks like she was ultimately successful.
Yeah, I agree. This is the kind of person that should be in every HOA and should be someone next on the board. Well, Dan, thanks for your time. We appreciate it as always.
You're welcome, Gene.
And thank you, listeners. Have a great rest of the weekend. Look forward to seeing you here next Saturday on Where You Live.